Hey guys, this is episode 2 of How They Did It, and I'm here with Cody Sweet. I announced him early on my Instagram. Cody Sweet owns Sweet Fitness Kickboxing. His gym has over 700 members, maybe even more now. That was just the last I checked. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him since we were in Thailand. We were supposed to start something together a long time ago. He ended up going to California and just killed it. And someone I'm really, really interested to talk to him because this is really what a lot of my podcasts I want to be centered around. I want people that want to come in and open a business and become successful in something that they like. And I'm not, not something that's completely obscure, something that it seems attainable to somebody that's 30 years old and looking to move forward with their life. Cody, just hit us off. How did you start jumping into this business? Let's go straight in.
Yeah, man. So, like you said, when Tony and I were living in Thailand, I ended up managing a couple of gyms while I was over there, Bangkok Fight Lab and then Bangkok Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Did that for a handful of months until I got let go. Let's just say it. That was very nice. I got let go. And then me and my coach at the time, our jiu-jitsu coach, we started doing some lead generating websites for Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and mixed martial arts academies. And then I started doing Facebook ad campaigns for mixed martial arts and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu academies. Then I got hired by a chain of fitness kickboxing gyms, Total Fitness Kickboxing, based out of Memphis. Butch Malden and all those guys, they hired me to kind of teach them like my sales and marketing process. And I didn't really realize it. I was a business major in school. I went to Chico State. I have a degree in business and entrepreneurship. Didn't really learn anything about business or entrepreneurship while I was in college, right? So I do have a degree. Didn't really learn hardly anything at all. So if you want to start a business, do not go to college to learn how to start a business. That is my advice. But anyway, so I got hired by this chain of fitness kickboxing gyms, and I was like, man, this is awesome. I had started thinking about opening like an MMA gym or something like that, and I was like, man, fitness kickboxing that's an amazing business model. It's like if there's only one program, fitness kickboxing. It's easier to market. It's easier to get coaches for. You don't have to have black belts who took 10 years to get there, right? Because we're fitness. We're not competitive like fighting gym, right? Man, and so I decided I was going to open my own gym. So I moved back here where I went to college at Chico, California, and I opened Sweet Fitness Kickboxing, man. And we kind of it just exploded from day one, basically, man. So it's been great. It's been awesome.
Yeah, and I remember that journey too that you were going through. By the way, just a quick mention. The reason why I'm outside is because there's some construction in the house. I'm at a friend's house. Everybody knows I travel for work. So I came over to a friend's house to record the podcast, and there's some construction in his house. He didn't know it was going to happen. So yeah, we're doing it outside. But yeah, so I want to go with like some of the more pragmatic details. So you went back to Chico. How did you start? Like, did you start looking for, was it like an idea? You're like, okay, I'm going to start fitness kickboxing. Was it like, did you have capital from somewhere else? Was it from the job that started it? Did you take a
Yeah.
loan?
So I had a little bit of money, but not a lot, right? Because I was doing like internet marketing stuff. So I was doing like marketing campaigns for other gyms. But honestly, I didn't really like doing it, because you're just dealing with a bunch of clients. I learned a ton doing it. Right, I built this whole skill set, like managing the gym, doing the websites, doing the marketing, the Facebook ads, teaching clients how to do sales because I'd send them a bunch of leads from Facebook, and they didn't know how to properly follow up with an appointment. They didn't know how to set an appointment. They didn't know how to get their leads to show up, and they didn't know how to sell them. So for them to keep paying me, I had to teach them all that stuff, but I didn't know it, so I had to learn it. I kept losing clients. It was a real pain in the ass. I didn't enjoy it. So I had a little bit of money in the bank. And then thankfully my stepdad, he owned a bar and he sold his bar and he loaned me like $20,000. And then I had like 10 grand or something like that. And I mean, I opened this gym for like 30 or 40 grand, man. Cause that's all I had. I didn't have any money, right? I'd been living in
Yeah.
Thailand. Yeah, I've been living in Thailand for 5 years, right? And I didn't really have very much money. I was super lost in life. I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing, right? And then, so I had a little bit of cash, and I got hired by Total Fitness Kickboxing to do consulting. I'm just going to open the same kind of gym. And so I started looking for a space.
And so you find the space, you buy the equipment, whatever it is. Did you buy the equipment outright? Did you
I
buy it
leased
from used?
I leased it. I mean, you get a really shit deal when you lease it, to be honest. I ended up paying probably like 60% more for the bags and mats. But with the lease, I only had to put like $1,000 down instead of paying like 10 or 12 grand out of pocket. And like I said, I only had like 30 grand, which like to some people that might sound like a lot of money. It did to me at the time, but it's not when you're opening a business. Like it's like that's
Yeah.
like nothing. Like my expenses here are like that's like what I pay every month now to stay in business almost, right? Like
Yeah.
so I leased it because I only had to put like $1,000 down payment, and then I could make payments over like 3 years, right? So you end up paying a lot more money for the equipment. But at the time I had the money I had, so I was like, I put like the Facebook ads, I put the marketing on credit cards when I first opened. I think I had like I got the computer, I think on like a Best Buy credit card, just to like, even though it was like really like shit deals, I had to pay interest on it. It allowed me to keep some capital in the bank in case like things didn't go well right out of the gate.
Yeah. And okay, so when you started out, what was like your first move? Like, what was when you first started? How was your first marketing campaign? How did you bring students in? Like, because you don't have like a back, like you're not a famous fighter that has a name or something of that nature. You didn't have a brand. You weren't franchising from anybody else. So, what's day one? How did it look for you?
Yeah, man. I mean, we crushed it on day one, but it was because it had done Facebook ad campaigns and like ad campaigns for other gyms in the past. And so I kind of like built this whole system that I knew I could replicate at my gym here. So, I mean, we came out of the gate swinging, bro. Like we had like 300 appointments set for the first week or something like that. Like it was wild. We ended up signing like 180 members on contract in the first 6 weeks. But it's because I had built that skill set. I had like educated myself on how to be successful at this, right? Like specifically, once I knew I wanted to open a martial arts gym, I just started studying like from everybody I could, like how do you do the leads for how do you make a strong offer to generate leads? How do you promote that offer on Facebook, on Instagram? Like how do you set up your website to generate leads, right? So I just really spent a lot of time educating myself on how to be successful at this before I ever actually did it myself. So we were able to come out of the gate swinging, right? We generated like 70 leads the very first day, which that's someone who says like, hey, here's my contact information. I want to come try you out, right? So I mean, it went super good from the grand opening. Took us a little bit of time to get to the grand opening. It was kind of hard to find a space. A lot of landlords didn't want to rent to me because they're like, show me your bank account. And I'm like, there's
Here
nothing
you
really.
go.
They're like, how many you owned or you opened in the past? And I'm like, none, dude. Like, I'm like, I've never opened one. I've never owned one. They're like, cool. Do you have like a house for like collateral? I'm like, no, like I have nothing. So like a lot of places wouldn't even lease to me. So it was a little tough getting there, but you guys had to keep grinding for it. I knew this is what I wanted because there was no way in hell I was getting a day job.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly that feeling. Even though I got a day job ish, but it's a little different. uh, but so like, what was like your education like? Like, walk me through what you mean by you educated yourself. Are you talking like you were just Googling and coming out of things? Were you like buying apprenticeships or like mastermind classes? Like, how did it work?
So at the time, I'm a big fan of tips and masterminds and coaching programs and courses. But at the time, I
Pa-
didn't have any.
Pause. The helicopter cut out your audio. I have to cut
Yeah.
this part. All right. Let's go again. Let's go again.
Yeah, man. So like I'm a huge fan of like courses and masterminds, and I pay people for like phone calls and consulting all the time, right? But when I was going to open this gym, I didn't have any money for any of that stuff. So honestly, what I did is a lot of people coaches and consultants and like other gym owners, they would do like free webinars or like free Facebook lives or like they'd have like YouTube videos or whatever, right? That would like they would teach you like little bits and pieces of it, right? So I was just scooping up like all these golden nuggets from all these free sources that I could find to implement because I didn't have the money to hire a coach or a mastermind at the time. Although I will say now that is the number one piece of business advice I give people is to like hire a coach who has the blueprint, who can, I call it time collapsing, right? Where like what took me a decade to learn, I can teach you in 90 days now, right? So
Yeah.
like I pay people for their time and their knowledge all the time. But yeah, but when I was starting this, bro, like I didn't have the money for that. So I just was listening to like every podcast I could. I was like, reading every like book I could find about it. I think podcasts are absolutely excellent. Free webinars can be great. And then honestly, like some people, like I just reached out to them and I'm like, man, like your gym is really amazing. Like, I know how to do Facebook ads for gyms or I know how to do this or like, I know you're super busy. would you be at all interested in like I could do some free like marketing work for you, and you could just like give me an hour of your time? And honestly, a lot of times, man, if you reach out to them in that way and offer them some value, they won't even take what you're offering them. They're just like, yeah, absolutely, I'd love to jump on a phone call with you, right? So I had some people, Alan Belcher, who fought in the UFC a bunch of times, right? He had some successful gyms. He jumped on a call with me for like an hour for free, and he just taught me so much in that hour that saved me so much money and made me so much money. So I'm super grateful to people like Alan Belcher and stuff like that for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. That's awesome to get that kind of information and for
Yeah,
free. And
it was
I've realized that too, like through my investment journey. I'm like shocked at how many people, if I just like, hey, what's up, man, this and that, and I try to be, I'm super courteous. I know they don't owe me anything, and I'm like, if there's anything I can do for you, I don't know what there is I can, but if there is, let me know. I would love to just get it. And people are pretty helpful. Like I was always surprised by it.
They really are, especially if they've been successful in that industry and they see you're trying to kind of do what they did, right? I think there's just something in us. Like I don't know if it's a human thing or like a business owner thing or what, but like I coach other gym owners. But bro, I spend so much time just doing like free calls with other gym owners, just like giving them tons of value to where like I should be charging them for it, right? But like I just really like to help them out. And like if they don't pay me, whatever, bro. Like they don't my gym pays my bills more than pays my bills. But like
Yeah.
there's something really inside me that just makes you want to like help people out with that kind of stuff for whatever reason.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I see that even in my field. Like I know, like a lot of guys, especially a lot of fighters. I especially feel bad for professional fighters that are coming out of their career because a lot of them are lost, and maybe their only option is to be a coach, and then they're going to some random gym and they're paying them $20 a class, and these poor guys don't know what's going on. So when they ever come, I just can't help myself. Like I can't help myself. You just feel for them because you just know the fight they're going through.
Right. Absolutely.
So like when we're talking about Facebook ads, we're back. We got cut off, but we're back. Now that we're talking about Facebook ads, I'm curious. What's like your return on your investment for a Facebook ad campaign?
Man, I mean, it's huge, right? So it's changing all the time because Facebook ads are always getting more expensive. But like, so I can tell you a contract to us is worth about $1,200. We generate leads on Facebook. Now I'd say probably an average of $20 just because they're more expensive than they used to be. I used to get leads for like $5 and less. It was amazing, right? Now they're like
Hmm.
$20. But we'll convert out of every 4 or 5 leads, we typically end up signing one of them to a contract. So I would say we're trading somewhere between $75 and $150 for a
Hmm.
$1,200 contract, typically. So I mean, it's
That's
like
great.
it's 10x more than a 10x return a lot of times.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Uh, what have you found any difficulties, surprises from opening your business that kind of shocked you that you were kind of weren't prepared for, and what were they, and how did you get over them?
Yeah, man, that people would like absolutely lose their minds over COVID and start shutting down businesses for like, upwards of 2 years, and like people just like still wearing masks around town and like just going crazy over it. Right? I would have never thought that like for one that we have any kind of a pandemic, but then two that people would just like, in my opinion, right, that
Hmm.
people would just like so like go over the top with it, just like go so overboard and like lock themselves in their houses and stuff, and that the government could come in and tell me that you have to close your business, like in America, for the government to come and tell me you have to close your business. We're not really going to give you any money, and we're not going to really help you out, right? Like you're shit out of luck. You're on your own, man. I was very surprised that people like completely, and still some people are completely freaked out by it. So that absolutely surprised me. That'd be
And
the
what was your way to get over that? Like, how did you deal with COVID?
man. I mean, we were mandated by the government by Gavin Newsom, right? Mandated by him to shut down. So we did for a while, and then during the second shutdown, bro, we reopened like a week early, and I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. And then the third shutdown, I just said we're staying open, we're not closing. As an American, it's my choice to keep my gym open, and as you being Americans, it's your choice if you want to come to the gym or not, right? So we did that, and we did at first pivot to online workouts. So we were doing like 2 online workouts a day, I think it was, with different coaches. So our members could like live stream from home and stuff like that and work out. And that was great for a while, but we never anticipated it being like stretching on for over a year and a half, or whatever it was, right? Like, I mean, you
Yeah.
wanted 2 online workouts for us. You were in
Yeah, exactly.
where were you at, man? You were in Monaco, right?
Monaco. Yeah, I was in Monaco.
Yeah. So we did online workouts, and like that was helpful, but still, I mean, it's not the same, right? It's not nearly the same. Things are like, now that things are mostly back to normal, like the energy in the gym is so much fun. It's so high. People love being here. So the online workouts were cool, but they weren't cool after 6 months or a year or whatever it
Yeah.
was.
So give me some of the things, some of the concepts of your gym that are a bit unique. I know them, but just for the people listening.
Yeah, man. I mean, so for us, so like the basic rundown is we're a fitness kickboxing gym, right? We got 32 bags, we got 30 classes a week. There's no sparring, so you don't get to punch nobody in the face, but every class is led by a coach. And our whole goal is to be the absolute most fun workout you have ever had, right? So like our mission statement in our manuals is to change as many lives as possible by giving them the most fun workout they have ever had. And I feel like we accomplished that, right? Like we got like almost 300 5-star reviews on Google. We get voted the #1 boutique gym in town every year. 700 plus members, 730 members, man. So we always say we sell fun #1, right? Because for people to hit their goals, they have to enjoy the process. It's very, very difficult to hit your goals if you do not enjoy the process, if you dread it every day. There's some people out there who can do that, but most of us, and like myself, I'm not, right? We try to give them the most fun workout that they have ever had. And that's really what we try to do here, is just help people change their lives, physical, but also mental. Like the mental health aspects of fitness kickboxing, I think, are significantly more important than even the physical benefits. And the reason we're able to help so many people change their lives is just because we have like the most friendly, fun staff. We also have like the most friendly, fun members, which what makes our job easy, right? Because our members are awesome. So like that makes it way, way, way easier. Because it's like we genuinely want to interact with our members. But I think what sets us apart is just by being like the most absolute fun gym that we can.
I also remember you guys have some kind of system where you're counting the punches
Yeah.
or measuring something. Maybe explain that a little bit, because I always thought that was unique.
Yeah, the impact draft system. So every bag has a sensor on it, right? And the sensor is going to track how many punches you throw, how hard you hit. It's going to give you an overall score. We've got some 65-inch, like 4K TVs in here. Give you your overall score called your impact score. Then all of our members have their own app, so they can track all their workouts and all their progress right there in their phone. And now it even syncs to like heart rate monitors. So your score, like we call it like your tile. It'll have like your name and your score on there. It'll change color on the board based on like the fat burning zone you're in. It tracks like how many calories you burned and like your max heart rate and stuff. So it's super cool.
And you guys, what you guys use it? Which company do you guys use for that?
Yeah, so it's called Impact Wrap. They're based out of Philadelphia. You can find them on like Instagram. I highly
Okay.
recommend, Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, MMA gyms, even karate studios. Like it'll hook to like any kind of a punching bag, and our members absolutely love it. They love it.
That's great. Yeah, man, that sounds like it can make a regular bag hitting workout like way more fun, especially for the average person just coming in there to get a sweat.
Oh, absolutely, bro. Like people, like they go crazy. They break like 100,000 points for the first time, and like they want to like take selfies with the coach. Like they're putting it on their Instagram. Like they're pumped because it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like the first time I don't know, first time I deadlifted 400 pounds or something like that, right? You're just like, you're super proud of yourself. Like you're super pumped at that accomplishment, right? So when they break that personal record, man, like they're fired up and they look at their score and they know they're like 3 points away, and they just start going crazy, right? They're like, I'm for sure breaking my record today, So it's super motivational for them too.
That's cool. By the way, if everybody noticed, he was doing there, they did a 400-pound deadlift, real casual to the side, just kind of toss it off.
Is that 465? But
Wow, wow, wow. Okay. So, like one thing, how much do you think it costs, like your capex, just for your business to maintain? What do you think that runs you guys a month, if you don't mind me asking?
So right now, including everything, payroll, business insurance, utilities, marketing ads, spend all in with a full-time manager also. So like I'm not in the day-to-day anymore, really. Like I have a full-time manager, full team. It runs me about 25 grand a month.
Okay. And how is the staffing? Speaking of that, like getting a manager, how difficult is that? Is it easy? And employees and someone to run it, is it easy? Do you have a system that you run? Like how does that all work for you?
You know, man, I mean, it's easy and difficult at the same time. The difficult part is here in Chico, we're about 95,000 people population wise, and we're like the only kind of city, like big city, 90,000 people are in the area. We're not part of a metro, right? So there's 90,000 people, and that's really it. There's not like a whole bunch of surrounding towns and cities, really. So what's hard about it is there's not like a lot of like trained staff out there to hire from. Like there's not a big talent pool to hire from. So that's difficult, right? But what's been easy is that we've been able to create staff internally. My very first manager, Kyra, she moved back to Missouri during COVID, but she was just like my first coach. And she was here all the time with me. So she just learned the business from me. Like we had like no systems, we had no SOPs, we had no checklists at the time. Like we got everything now, but then we had nothing. But so she just kind of learned it from being at the gym, right? So that was a super easy transition. My second manager, my current manager, Jenna, she was a coach with me for a couple of years. Then when Kyra moved, Jenna became the new manager. And both of them are like super sharp, super ambitious, and hardworking. And they already knew a lot. And then I was able to teach them even more that I knew. So like that part was easy, but it is difficult sometimes finding coaches because either we have to hire members, which can work out really, really well a lot of times. But if we don't have somebody like internally to hire, there's not a lot of people externally to hire typically, right? Just because we're such a smaller town. So we've been very fortunate that we've had some amazing coaches we've grown internally. And when we've had to hire externally, we've been able to find them, but it can take some time sometimes just because the talent pool here is just so small because it's such a smaller town.
And that's another thing I think I wanted to ask you about. Since now that you've kind of created this, it's obviously very successful, 700 members. I know world champion jiu-jitsu coaches that don't have 700 members in their school. And maybe even all two or three of their schools don't have 700 members. So it's obviously a super accomplishment on its own. But do you see, like, now that you do have a system, is this something that you maybe would consider franchising in the future, or maybe you just opening up other gyms? Like, where do you see your growth from this point forward?
Yeah, so not franchising. And the reason is I actually talked to a company that specializes in franchising. Um, Franchising, you typically take like an upfront payment, right? Maybe it's, $50,000 or whatever. And then you get like a percentage each month, 6 or 8% of gross, right? The thing with franchising is it would kind of take me out of the fitness business and I'd kind of become an executive. Like, it's like you're dealing with, you got to sign 50, 100 franchisees, you got to deal with, attorneys, and you have to build a really large team. You're not really in the gym at that point when you're franchising. You're a business executive, which actually isn't interesting to me, even though it could make a ton of money, right? But that's just not really interesting to me. Like, I want to build more gyms that like different types of gyms that I can be inside of or be a part of. Like, I really enjoy that. Being a business executive and scaling a large company just isn't something that's very exciting to me. So what I'm currently doing is I've got my current manager, Jenna, a partner. She'll be a partner in a location with me. So her and I will be partners. She'll be the operating partner. And then I'll do the marketing and the lead gen and all that stuff and come with the business model and the branding and all the intellectual property and everything, right? So partnerships, I'll probably do a couple of those. And plans to like open like, I want to open like a really big like 20, 25, 30,000 square foot facilities. Like I've like other plans of this other thing in the future that I haven't really like talked about too much yet.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And and when you're here, like, so when you're trying to build into these new businesses, these bigger businesses, are you going to be looking to get out of the area that you're in now, moving into other states? Or are you going to be staying in California or somewhere close by? Because you're not going to be able to personally be in all these places at once. So you're basically just going to have to build out the business and then let other people run it and maybe overview it.
Yeah, man. So I'm not 100% sure as of yet. That's something that I kind of struggle with every day, right? Like, are we going to stay in Chico? Are we going to move to the Sacramento area? I was this close to moving to Boise, Idaho, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure yet. Like, If I want to scale one concept to multiple locations, I may have to move because there's only enough room in Chico for one Sweet Fitness Kickboxing, right? We're not a big
Yeah.
metro. The other thing though is, I have Sweet Fitness Kickboxing. I'm opening another gym called Greenlight Personal Training with a partner, and then I've got an idea for another type of facility that I could do in Chico too. So I mean, I could potentially bring multiple concepts to Chico and stay here, right? Or if I decided to scale one of these concepts to multiple locations, potentially I would either have to move or have operating partners who could go there and operate the new facilities, right? You can hire managers, but managers quit, they get fired, they go off the deep end, whatever, which can happen with an operating partner as well. But if an operating partner comes in with some skin in the game, they're bringing half the money or a chunk of the money. They're more heavily invested in the business as opposed to maybe just a manager who might just be like, oh, I'm quitting and I'm moving to Hawaii to, like, I don't know, sell seashells on the beach, right? Like, typically an operating partner, they got money, they got cash in the business, they got skin in the game, they got equity, they got ownership, so they're probably not going to do that. So it's something I kind of struggle with daily is I don't know exactly what I want to do next.
Hey, listen, we're gonna have a talk after the podcast. Maybe there's something we could do, Cody. Maybe because my mind's opening. I'm like I've been looking to invest in stuff because that's basically where I'm at in my life. I basically want to try to create some businesses that can give me cash flow. I mean, I know the gym industry because I've worked in it for the past 12, maybe like
Yeah.
15 years now. I'm old now, I forgot, but uh, but yeah, I mean, so I've been looking for into owning some businesses. I basically want to take it. I want to have operators running the business, and I basically want to be an investor slash consultant for the gyms. I would like to be there for the production, the idea, and be investing the capital. I don't want to be operating all these gyms because it's not worth it for me to also give up my job at the moment, my current job, because I have a lot of opportunities coming from there too. That's why I was kind of asking. I was curious if you're planning on operating these gyms outside as well.
Not personally, no. I definitely operating partners, or if I was going to open more gyms, like say here in Chico, I could have like a GM run the gym because I'm living here, so that's not so difficult. But if I'm going to open one in multiple states or whatever, I think operating partners is probably the way to go.
Yeah, I would imagine the same. I would imagine the same. So, just so everybody knows, just to switch topics a little bit, me and Cody were actually going to open. I'm trying to the way to put it, like a fight camp, but for the average everyday people, and we were going to do it in Greece. Things were a little more expensive than we had planned. The economy took a bit of a turn and it twisted, and it never actually happened. And luckily for Cody, because obviously, look at this, the gym blew up.
I don't
It blew up.
It's paradise. We had the logo and everything in the name, right?
Yeah, we had the whole deal. It was fantastic. Thinking back on that now, though, with your current knowledge, if you were to start a business like that, how would you even approach something like that? Would you approach it completely differently? Do you think you're basically the same mindset as you were then? What had changed?
It could still work. I think the Greek islands probably aren't the ideal location because of one, they're really only like open like, 4, 5, 6 months out of the year, right? So it's not like
Yeah,
Thailand tropical year round. So that was like one mistake that I didn't realize at the time. Like, oh, people don't really go to the Greek islands for half of the year, right? So then your
yeah.
business closed half of the year, right? And then
Mhm.
number two is like the land was significantly more expensive on the Greek islands than it is in parts of Thailand, right?
Yeah.
But as far as like I call like a destination camp or whatever, I think like that can still do awesome, right? They seem to be still doing well in Thailand, um, but I think you kind of need somewhere tropical or more like that where it's going to be open the large majority or all of the year, right? Because if you're only open half of the year, then your coaching staff, what are they going to do the rest of the half of the year? So every year you have to get new coaching staff, right? And you're still going to be paying rent or paying your lease or your mortgage or whatever for half the year when you're closed. Even the little things like your cleaning staff's probably going to leave. You got to hire and train new employees every single year. So I think you need somewhere to do business year round. But I still think there's like a big demand for people who want to like go to other countries and have a holiday that's part of like the sport they really enjoy. So they're having fun, they're getting fit, and they're on a vacation all at the same time.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, and one of my friends is moving to Costa Rica probably soon,
Yeah.
and that's why I was thinking about it. You never know. Maybe for an off the podcast conversation, Cody. Maybe that's where we're going to go with this. Uh, so outside of this, now that your life is a bit more stable, you have your business is running. You obviously have your house and your whole deal. How do you like structure your personal finances now? Like, do you have like a financial advisor? Are you investing your income? Are you just reinvesting back in your business? What are you doing personally with your finances?
So I have a tax strategist, and they basically told me I need to buy real estate. Otherwise, there's not really that many tax savings to be had. So I
Yeah,
real estate. But right now, I'm not investing any of my money except for I put $20,000 in crypto. That's worth like 7,000 now. But other than
that's
that,
always good.
yeah, I'm not investing any of my money. I'm stacking cash because I have the. So one of the real estate guys I follow, because I thought I was going to buy a bunch of real estate, right? When he said, don't start investing in real estate until you can't reinvest in your business or build other businesses any longer, because a business is going to cash flow significantly more than real estate, right? Real estate's an investment. Now, let's become like a developer, or like you're buying a big apartment complex. There are people who do that for sure. Then it's not an investment, it's a business, right? If they're actively buying tons of apartment complexes, like that is their business, right?
Yeah,
So it made sense to me, like, well, don't start putting money into real estate yet, because you're going to be getting, a 10% return. I mean, you might get more, you might get less, but something like
yeah,
that, typically, right?
yeah.
Whereas, like, I put 40 grand into this gym, and we got 700 members at $100 a month. Like, my cash on cash return, my reinvestment at this gym is astronomically higher than investing in real estate. So, like, the plan I'm following now is to create more cash flowing businesses until I've just got so much cash coming in that I can start stuffing it into into real estate, right? Into big real estate deals. Because if you only have, say, like 50 grand or even 100 grand a year to invest, that's a good amount of money, but it's not really going to get you that much real estate. Like, not too much, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
But if
yeah,
you got a $500,000 a year to invest because you've got these businesses that cash flow heavily, well, now you can start making some really big moves, So my personal strategy is to open some bigger gyms or more gyms that cash flow heavily. And then I have even more like ammunition to fire with when I do start investing into real estate.
Hey, Cody, man, I'm gonna tell you this has been perfect. Exactly what we've wanted the entire time. We're trying to keep this podcast around 30 minutes. We went a little bit over, but not bad. I went a bit over with Barry too, but it's the beginning. I want to apologize to everyone that's watching for all the audio issues, the people, the gates, the horns. But listen, if you're listening to Cody, this man created a very successful business from scratch. I've known him since Thailand. We're talking 2014. He was running a gym. He thought about this all by himself. He worked his ass off, and he was able to create this dream that a lot of us have. And of course, we all know there's luck plays its role, but he really changed his mindset. He got himself together. Now he has a beautiful family, 2 kids, a wife, beautiful house, great gym. This guy can give you a lot of value. So ignore all the outside noise and try to focus on what he said. Cody, I really appreciate you coming onto the podcast, especially since we're so new here. And let's do it again soon.
Absolutely, bro. Anytime, man. Anytime. It's always great catching up with you, man. And yeah, dude, I'd love to be on again.
All right. Amazing, my man. We'll talk soon.
Later, man.
All right.